Hey, how's it going? Mr. Deadman of Ranted Chill here. On this channel, I like to chill. I like to rant. Here, probably gonna be ranting a little bit. Gonna be talking about the vaccines and these boosters. Oh man, I gotta walk the line here, not because of monetization, because I'm not, but because of just will this video stay? And hopefully it does. Okay, so this headline here from the Daily Mail: Are we on the brink of over-vaccinating in the fight against COVID? Experts warn dishing out fourth jabs in spring may be unnecessary, and Omicron may be world's natural vaccine that finally ends pandemic. Now that just reading that headline alone, if I was monetized, it would get me demonetized or whatever, because that's controversial, right? You can't say that. You can't say this stuff, really. In this article, you can read it in whole. It pretty much is that. Things where they try to say, oh, you don't really need the next or the fourth booster, not necessary. And there's scientists that say, oh, but it is going to be necessary. Dr. Fauci, you want to know what Dr. Fauci says? Doesn't matter, because he's going to change his mind, change what he says probably a week later, So it doesn't really matter what he's quoted as saying, because he's going to change it anyway. And then he's just going to say it's because of science. I don't think it's always because of science. I think it's because of something else. And this is, if you just look at his track record. If you just look at it. Okay. So, I think you guys know. You guys are very smart. So, but let's get into it a little bit more here. The fourth booster, I think it's ridiculous. I'm not a scientist. I'm not a doctor. But it seems obscene just to get jabbed every 3 to 4 months for something that's like a super cold. At this point, it's with all these variants, the symptoms are getting milder, but the virus is more transmissible. It spreads easy, but it's mild. Okay, on the way it's going, these scientists in this article are suggesting that this on that path, based on that pattern, the next variants are also going to be mild, even milder than the previous. So if anything, your body will be able to fight it off easier, get natural immunity, things like that. I mean, I could read here. Let's see. Okay, so Israel officials have already announced that their intention to embark on dishing out another round of booster jabs. Look, if Israel wants to have a bunch of boosters, if they want to have 3 boosters in a month, go ahead. Go right ahead. Israel, you do that. You be brave for all of us. Have many boosters as possible. Yeah, just do that. But the rest of the world, just watch. Don't follow suit, okay? just sit back and watch them, I guess, slowly get weaker and weaker to where now they have a crazy flu coronavirus, which is what's happening now. Now they have not just the coronavirus, but a flurona. I wonder if that has any relation whatsoever to these constant jabs. No. That's crazy. Anyway, but scientists are arguing. Science argue that rolling out vaccines every 3 to 4 months simply isn't doable. Well, it isn't. It's ridiculous, and it may not even be necessary, because Omicron, which some believe will speed up the process of endemicity, and what consign the days of sky high hospitalization. Gee, it's early, I can't read right now. Hospitalization death figures to history. So they called for more data dosing gaps between boosters before pressing ahead with plans to administer fourth jabs. Some experts claim the benefit of extra jabs are minimal because their primary purpose, preventing deaths and hospitalizations, has barely waned after a year and several COVID variants. Effectively meaning boosters are adding to an already high base level immunity. Now, okay, here's the thing with that. People who are pro boosters, people who are pro these vaccines, could easily say the same thing that people that are kind of, I guess, aware of this, that, I don't know, is it? They don't seem to be very effective in that. So you get the vaccine. It doesn't stop catching it. It doesn't stop spreading it. You do have outbreaks, and they'll say, oh, you're not going to be hospitalized, it'll be fine. But yet, there are situations that where people are hospitalized. They'll say, "Oh, but that's not normal. That's not the trend." But it does happen. I mean, what do you mean when you say it's not normal? Like, what are the numbers you're looking at here? You know, and there's other articles you could read. I think a couple months ago, where the effectiveness of the current vaccines against Delta, and it's like, well, well, I can't finish that statement on YouTube, but it's so effective it needs boosters. Okay, it's so effective they need to dose you with more. Okay, that's how effective it is. It's so effective that even though you have it, you can be hospitalized. Even if you have the vaccine, you can be hospitalized with a Delta or even Omicron. Jesus. That's effective. Anyway, Professor Ian Jones, a virologist at the University of Reading, said descriptions of Omicron being a natural vaccine were right. The logic behind the argument is that Omicron is highly transmissible but milder than other variants, and it can give an immunity boost without causing as much serious illness, with some data suggesting a combination of infection than vaccine providing the best type of immunity in the long run. I mean, the natural antibodies that you develop, I mean, yeah, that's gonna be better. You just have to look at science for that. You know, if the vaccines actually worked like traditional vaccines where they gave you like a dead version of the virus and your body learned how to fight that and it could kill it off, then when you do get infected, your body knows how to fight it and kill it off, would be great, you know? But that's not how these vaccines work, you know? It's kind of a joke in a way. Just look at it, man. It's just clown world. That's where we're living in. Let's see. Future variants may be more mild, maybe even more mild, Professor Jones told Mail Online, adding the need for healthy adults to get top-up jabs could soon recede. Instead of doling out jabs every few months, he said annual boosters for the vulnerable ahead of winter would be more feasible. There you go. Right? There's a bunch of scientists that weigh in. Let's see. Professor Lawrence Young, virologist of Warwick University, insists a vaccine should protect against severe illness. Vaccines should protect against severe illness for much longer than they do against getting infected or becoming ill, suggesting that an annual booster for the elderly and vulnerable groups would be enough to throttle off COVID in the coming years. Here's the other thing, too, that's coming to mind. I remember someone like Destiny said that, if everyone got vaccinated, we'd be done with COVID. That's an absolute lie. Absolute lie. Because we know, even with the vaccine, you can catch it and you can spread it. And even if you're vaccinated, even if you're boosted all the way, not only can you catch it, you can still have symptoms. You could still have bad symptoms, and you can still spread it. It doesn't kill the virus. It doesn't stop the virus. It just treats the symptoms, and then you can still spread it to where the virus can learn to evolve as viruses do. So, no, you wouldn't get rid of it. Besides, do you know what coronavirus is? You know what the term coronavirus is? Coronavirus has been around longer than COVID-19. COVID-19, that's not when coronavirus became a phrase, became something. Like, I'm a normie. I know nothing, right? I'm not a scientist. I'm not a doctor. It's the cold. Coronavirus is the cold. You had the coronavirus before, long ago, before COVID-19. We've all had the coronavirus before, long ago. And your body just fought it. The COVID-19, the Wuhan lab and all that stuff, it's a different beast. But as it happens, it seems that naturally it is evolving to be milder and easily more transmissible. Okay, coronavirus wants to spread around. It wants to be your friend. It wants to be in your body and live in you. It wants to make a nest and make a home in your body. It doesn't want to kill you. A virus doesn't gain anything from killing its host. It just wants to live. It just wants to be. Coronavirus did nothing wrong. Changed my mind. Okay. Like I said, also in this article, you have so you have these doctors say, you probably don't need the booster. The fourth booster is getting kind of ridiculous, right? Then let's get to, I guess, other voices. Let's see if we get to that. But even though data shows vaccines are less effective against Omicron, there we go. It's an article. You too are reading it. Even though data suggests vaccines are less effective against Omicron, they are nowhere near redundant. Oh, really? Okay. Real-world data shows efficacy levels of booster vaccine and stopping people getting symptoms plummet to around 40% just after 10 weeks. So it's not even 50% effective. So aiming for 40%, that's good. When I was in school, 40%, getting a 40 on a test, that was not good. You didn't pass. Okay? All right. I like it. Look at those two sentences. They do not go well together. The first one, even though data shows vaccines are less effective against Omicron, they're nowhere near redundant. Okay, so saying that, look, we know the data shows that it's not effective, but you know what? You still need it. It's still important. Then the next one says real-world data shows efficacy levels of the booster vaccine and stopping people from getting symptoms plummet, as in decrease, as in it no longer helps, to around 40% just after just 10 weeks. 40%. 40%. It doesn't help, does it? I mean, 40%, that's what you're aiming for? I thought maybe like 60%. And we're talking about within 10 weeks. This thing doesn't even last 10 weeks. No wonder they want to do a jab every 3 months. Hey, this vaccine we created, it doesn't even, it expires. It's like milk. It's like milk in your system. It's going to expire, being spoiled. It's not going to work anymore. You're just getting another jab. That's what you're going to need. Why don't you make a better vaccine? Why don't you just do that? Oh, man. Trump was part of that. Trump wants praise for creating these vaccines. Give him the praise. Give him the praise he deserves. Trump, you fucked up on this. You fucked up on this. How about that, Trump? How about that? You want this to be your legacy? This will be your legacy. This is coming from a guy who was a Trump guy. You want this to be your legacy? All right, it's your legacy, man. This stuff you sped, you paid money to speed through it. Don't worry, FDA, you don't have to look at it. Yeah, good job there. It's not even 40% effective within 10 weeks. What is that? 3 months? Within 3 months, it's not effective? Wow. Anyway, it goes on to say, but 2 jabs still drastically cut the risk of hospitalization and death, even against Omicron, as the body immune system still retains some ability to fight off virus even after some waning immunity. The 3rd dose will bolster that protection even further, experts insist. Now, in some areas where they're doing 3 boosts and even 4 boosts, like Israel's doing 4 boosts right now, and now, I don't know, they're talking about Flurona. I don't know if there's a connection there. I don't know if there's a connection there at all. But maybe that's God. I've read the Bible before. Not all the way through and through. I read enough that even God smites his chosen people every now and then. So maybe that's God's way of saying, y'all been unclean. Time to clean house. I don't know. Anyway. One of the UK government's own advisors warned it would be impossible to defeat COVID with vaccines if everyone needed a top-up every 3 months. Well, maybe you should not be delusional and not think you were ever going to defeat it anyway. We're going to be living with this thing. It would see the UK's National Health Service have to dish out the equivalent of 50 million jabs every 90 days. Oh, Jesus Christ, that's a lot. Of course, vaccine makers have been quietly working on polyvalent and COVID jabs. All right. Israel has already approved the use of 4th doses in COVID vaccines to vulnerable people. such as those with weakened immune systems, over fears that their immunity may already be fading. Here he talks about Dr. Fauci saying that it's premature to talk about a fourth dose, but anything Dr. Fauci says could change within like literally the next day. So I don't trust anything that guy says. Look, if you show me you have a history of lying and manipulating truth to fit whatever thing you want to do, I don't believe you. I don't trust you. How am I supposed to trust you? I feel that same way about, let's say, like the mainstream media, like CNN, MSNBC, all of them. Remember 9/11? Remember that stuff? I was around for that. I remember the weapons of mass destruction thing. I remember how they lied to us. Freaking lied to us. Lied to us. Told us truth. And YouTube wants to crack down on misinformation? Oh, that's a whole other rant. 90% of the misinformation comes from the main press. Are you kidding me? Yeah, Alex Jones is off his rocker sometimes, but a lot of times he can be right every now and then when he says things. You know, maybe he gets something wrong. Maybe he's hyperbolic in his way of presenting it. But it's not just Alex Jones. I mean, you can get actual real information from just people on YouTube just talking about it. Okay? All right? Talking about whatever particular issue, because they're definitely not going to sell you. They're less likely to sell you on the main narrative that whatever CNN or MSNBC is supporting. Besides, do you really trust CNN? Do you really trust CNN? The same place that pretty much seems to be a casting couch for little kids now. I don't know what's going on over there, but people are getting busted left and right. Anyway, on a totally different subject now. Yes. So the gist of this is pretty much, are we over boosting? And I would say yes. I would say, I agree with the scientists. I go, I think it's not feasible. I would say some other things, but I got to walk the line, I suppose. Anyway, with that said, let me know what you think in the comment section down below, and y'all take it easy.